Good morning. Well, I'm sure you all saw the news this week that the legendary singer Tony Bennett passed away. He was 96 years old, only 2 weeks away from his 97th birthday. I remember a lot of his songs from my youth. I remember when he came out with I Left My Heart in San Francisco and some of his other hits. But I read about him this week as the tributes came pouring in and learned a couple of things that I didn't know. One was that he won 20 Grammys throughout his lifetime. Well, that may not surprise you, knowing that he was such a legendary singer. What was surprising about it was all but two of those Grammys were won after he was 60 years old. At a time when most singers are hanging it up because their voice is starting to weaken, he had had such discipline in practicing and cultivating his voice that he was able to continue. And he was successful in that period of life because he collaborated with a lot of younger artists. He did collaborations with Stevie Wonder, with Lady Gaga on a couple of occasions, with Amy Winehouse in the last album that she recorded before her tragic death. He did a variety of collaborations, and he used that as a platform to share his talent and then to pass it on to the next generation. There was a second thing that I learned about him this week that I thought was interesting, and that was that his big hit, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, almost didn't happen. The song was sent to his agent many, many years before he recorded it. The agent looked at it, didn't think it was that great, stuck it in a drawer, and left it there. And it wasn't until several years later when he just happened to be going on tour to San Francisco that the agent remembered he had this song. And he thought, well, this would be cute to sing when we're singing in San Francisco. When he sang it, it was hugely popular. So they put it on the B side of a single that they were releasing, and it became the big hit. But it was interesting. It only rose to like number 23 on the charts, but it lasted and lasted and lasted and ultimately became his signature song. So there were a couple of different lessons that came to my mind as a result of these stories about Tony Bennett. One was that those of us who are either approaching or have passed to the other side of 60 years old need to take a lesson. Tony Bennett actually released his last album at age 95, only a year and a half before he passed away. And he even released that one after he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. But because of his incredible memory of his catalog, he was still able to use his talents. The Bible speaks about our willingness to use our talents when we get older. The psalmist says in Psalm 71, verse 18, even when I'm old and gray, do not forsake me, my God, until I declare your power to the next generation, your mighty acts to all who come. As older individuals, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to take this torch that we've been holding on to throughout our life and pass it on to the next generation. That torch may be our experience, it may be our wisdom, it may be our faith, it may be an understanding of what the priorities of life need to be so that the youth can learn those lessons without the painful experiences that sometimes come with it. So it's an important lesson to remember we still need to invest even in our retirement years. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, Paul says this, though outwardly we're wearing out, inwardly we're being renewed day by day. And I think that's important for all of us to remember that while we don't maybe have the energy that once we had, we can't do things for as long of a period, inside, because of our faith, we are being renewed day by day. And God grants us the strength, continue to fight and to serve him throughout our lives. The second thing is this idea of taking advantage of opportunity, not putting potential into a drawer and shoving it away for many years. I had a boss once who said, when somebody tells you that you have potential, all they're telling you is you really aren't worth anything right now. Now, that may or may not be true, but there's a seed of truth inside of it. Potential lies dormant. It's performance. When we take our talent out of a drawer, when we take our potential relationships out of a drawer, when we take our skills, our resources out of a drawer and finally put them to use, then we turn potential into performance. One more time, the Bible speaks about this in Galatians 6. Paul says, take advantage of every opportunity to be a blessing to others, especially to our brothers and sisters in the family of faith. So today, my message is probably a little bit more for those who are coming to the last third of life, approaching 60 and beyond. Take advantage of the opportunities. Invest in the next generation. Use the skills and talents that God has given you and make every day count until He's ready to take you home. Have a great week.